In this movie we're going to look at the Plan View module, which makes it easy to work with building layouts and indicate the locations of products by using symbols, and also make annotations onto those layout drawings. I'll begin by starting a new project, and you'll see in the drawings view that there is a Plan View template. You'd use this template if you wanted to start a new drawing and then create a floor plan or a reflected ceiling plan, drawing it from scratch. However, in most situations you'll be given a floor plan or an architectural layout from a consultant or an architect, and that will generally be in AutoCAD format. So let's mimic that by importing a DWG file. I have some sample DWG files here. We'll open that up and a new drawing is created with this tab here, and we'll begin by removing some of the information that we don't want. I'm just going to delete some of this text, some of these lines. Let's just get rid of that key, and then we can zoom in and work with the area of the drawing that we want, like so. Over here on the left hand side we have the symbol browser, which by default is pinned to the side of the drawing window, but as you move your mouse over it, it will reveal itself. And let's just expand this folder here, Stardraw Online Symbols. These are symbols that are coming down from our cloud service and represent generic shapes that you can use to position products on your layout. When you select one of these folders, the shapes are previewed and you can simply drag the shape on that you want. And here I'm just going to turn my orthogonal lock on, and this will then allow me to operate solely in the X or Y axes. I'm creating dynamic copies by holding down the control key. I'm going to arrange these three shapes. Let's say they represent speakers in a surround sound system. So I'm just going to arrange these and distribute them vertically so they're evenly spaced. I can then create copies of these two, again just by holding down the control key and dragging them with my mouse. And then I can use one of the tools specific to this particular view to show cabling between them. Now I'm not going to put in accurate cabling because anyone would know that you would never ever wire a surround sound system in this way, but using my snap to path modifier, I can use the cable arc tool to simply connect these speakers to each other like so. As I drag out this cable arc, you'll notice that it is in one orientation. If I hold the control key, I can flip that orientation. So that's with the control key pressed, that's without it pressed. So let's have our orientations like so, and I can also draw them like that. You'll notice that a cable arc, if we look at it in the properties grid, has a direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise, which basically flips the arc, and it has a sweep angle, and we can define new sweep angles. Let's say I want it to be 135 degrees. That creates a more round arc. I can also use this center node to change the sweep angle dynamically, and if I want to move cable arcs around, I can drag the end node. This has a scaling effect in that the sweep angle remains the same even though the arc is a completely different size. Let's just put in one final cable arc so that we can look at some of the other functionality offered by the symbol browser. At the moment you'll see that we have one root folder, which are the online Stardraw symbols, but I can add other folders that contain symbols using Tools, Personalization. If we simply go to the Symbol Directories tab, this will allow me to create new locations where I might have created and saved the symbols that I want to use. Symbols that can be used by the symbol browser include any DWG file, any DXF file, any SO1 file, and that's a format supported by earlier Stardraw applications and is also an export format for Stardraw Design 7, and also image formats, and that's what we're going to be looking at now. So I'm going to add this folder, which is a folder where I've created and saved some image-based or iconic symbols, as I refer to them. So when we select this folder, you can see that this is now previewing all of the image files that I have in that folder, and I can use absolutely any kind of image format, whether it's a JPEG, a TIFF, a GIF, or, as these are, a PNG format. So let's say I have some kind of image that maybe represents a server. Notice when this image comes in, it's quite small relative to this to scale floor plan. So I'll simply scale it out, and if I hold down the Shift key, you'll notice that that scaling is proportional, so we get the same proportions of that image as we scale it up and down. And then let's just move it to an appropriate place. And perhaps we would create a drawing like this, perhaps not. But it is really just a demonstration of the ease of use, the simplicity, the power and the flexibility of this plan view environment within Stardraw Design 7. If I then wanted to complete this drawing, having put in all of my various ceiling speakers, facilities panels, other utilities, projectors, wall-mounted screens and so forth, I could then, as I would normally do, insert a title block around it, and I can then export this drawing out again if I choose to, again to a DWG format, and give that then back to the architect or the consultant or whoever it is that needs to work with my newly annotated plan view layouts. And that really is a very quick, high-level, brief introduction to the plan view module. Thank you.